Us as a community, we gotta stop judging each other on how religious we are.
Oh,
Like, specifically how Muslim you are.
during Ramadan, we were waking up before sunrise to eat. We were just having a protein shake. Your mom and your aunt, they're like, yeah, like, how are they just having milk? Toxic mothers bragging about all they do to the entire family. I have a hot take on this.
Before you get mad at your mom for being some sort of way, you gotta like look in the mirror first.
Oh,
You gotta really ask yourself, am I being a piece of shit kid? 8 times out of 10. Facts.
welcome back to another episode of Difficult Dish. Today we are talking about South Asian pet peeves. You liked our episode so much, the first part that we made a couple months ago, so we had to come back with part 2 because we have so many more and you guys sent in amazing responses. We are talking about toxic mothers that are always bragging. We are talking about the current Shara trend on TikTok where we see a lot of Eurocentric brands copying our fashion sense. We're talking about family not really celebrating wins, religious trauma, everything in between that you can think of because you guys sent in the most extreme. We have our funny takes. So this has everything that you can think of in this episode. So if you guys are interested in listening to some of the things that we grew up with, some of the things that we've been seeing on social media, some pet peeves that you can probably relate to, then make sure to keep on watching and listening.
Welcome back to another episode of the best podcast in the world. Podcast called Difficult Dish, and it's a podcast about different South Asian narratives. And it's a podcast hosted by my co-host right here.
Mohuya Khan, if you didn't know, and this is my co-host right here.
Right here. Masha Munir. That's my name.
Yeah.
Like the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, rate the podcast, review the podcast, comment on the video, do all of the above.
And if you don't, we are going to stop posting. You know one of my favorite qualities about you?
What is it?
It's underrated. Every other day, you'll tell me that in another life, I would have loved to be a CIA agent. If I could change my career, I would have loved to be an actor.
Yeah. This is facts. What's the point of bringing this
I
up?
love being a barista. I would have done that in another life.
Yeah.
No, it's just you have so many different background characters to you, alternate realities to you.
Yeah. No, but you know which one I'm serious about.
But there's no overlap between CIA agent and actor.
CIA agent, that's like C tier. That's
okay.
Bottom of the list. Top of the list is coffee shop owner and Broadway actor. That's top 2 and rapper. Top 3. And
you
then
can make it happen.
Huh?
You can make it happen.
But I'm not going to. And I wouldn't want to be a chess player, but I'd want to be really, really good at chess. Anyways, thanks for recognizing that quality about me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why'd you bring that up?
No, I was just thinking how we went to that event the other day, and it's you saw an actor who was pretending to be a CIA agent, and that got your gears grinding because you're oh my god, he's doing both the things that I want to do.
I love you know what I love.
Tell me.
You know what slept on?
What?
Escape rooms. I love escape rooms so much. They're the most fun.
What, you want to work as?
No, I don't want to.
Oh.
Make escape rooms, but it's I like mystery, secretive shit.
Oh, I see.
And being a CIA agent is being missed. Anyways, yeah, I got a Whoop bracelet now. It was a gift from my co-host right here, and I've been tracking my sleep every night.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you guys knew, but I don't sleep at night at all. So I've come to realize.
He's like an owl. And also it's so funny because it tracks your stress and your energy levels and this and that. So he, at the end of the night he'll be yeah, I had a really good day, and then we'll check his Whoop history, and he was at the peak stress level of the entire day. And I'm is this just the norm for you where you're so stressed but you don't realize?
I'll look at it and it'll be oh yeah, 5:15 you were peak stress, and I think about what happened at 5:15. It's just an argument with her.
No, it's not even an argument. We checked his stress level, and it was at 12:30 p.m. and we're what was he doing at 12:30? All he was doing was making me a mug rack, okay?
That's true.
And he volunteered to do that by himself.
No, it wasn't the mug rack.
And I asked him if he needed help.
The screws weren't screwing. I needed a drill.
And it's on the outside, he's looking so calm and yeah, I got it, jolly. But on the inside, his brain, it's fighting with one another.
Yeah.
And that was just his peak stress. And then the other day, we checked again what his stress levels were, and it was the most of the peak since he got it. That was the highest stress that he was ever at, and we're like, what was he doing? All he was doing was making lunch.
Listen, it's a lot of work to like plan out meals.
No, I understand.
I'm in a calorie deficit now,
No,
so I gotta
understand.
make sure like weigh out my shit.
But it's like
You
these
understand?
happy, jolly things that you would think would bring you like calm.
Yeah,
This is the opposite for you. So
it's called manhood.
okay.
You
Okay.
understand?
Okay.
You understand? It's a
I
life of
understand.
stress.
I see.
You won't get an angst.
Yeah.
What are we gonna talk about this episode?
We're talking about South Asian pet peeves, and this is the part 2, guys, because guess what? Part 1, we did it in September, and you guys loved it so much. It was one of the most highly anticipated episodes. You guys sent in so many responses. You guys sent in so many responses that we actually are featuring some of them in this episode because we couldn't get to all of them last time.
Yeah.
But basically in the last episode when we made this a couple of months ago, we talked about just things that we are not the most fond of in our culture, or maybe it's like pop culture that we've seen on social media and this and that, maybe things that we grew up with, just things that we are very accustomed to that we don't think should be a norm but are pretty much norms, right? Like it could be family members commenting on your weight, it could be hacking and spitting, and that's like the norm. It can be like your mom calling out your name and then just not responding after you say hello. Why did you call?
That one gets me.
So it can be, more on the serious end, more on like the lighthearted end. We just have every single range that you can think of, right?
Yeah.
So in this episode, we have a couple of the responses that you guys sent in, because you can always send in some responses on our Instagram before we record.
Yeah, you can.
At Difficult Dish, if you guys don't know. And we also have some of our own personal experiences that we will be talking about.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, good one.
Your thoughts on pet peeves?
Yeah, last episode you couldn't really like define a pet peeve.
Yeah.
Can
No, this is your chance to try now.
A pet peeve is something that bothers you.
Okay. That's it? So like where did the linguistic root of pet and peeve come from?
The linguistics come from the fact that, a peeve.
It's okay.
What is
time.
a peeve?
Now his stress level in his whoop is gonna go back up now. Just his question.
I got a lot of these, but I feel like we hit a lot of the main ones the first time around.
Yeah.
But I still got some stuff to get off my chest.
Oh yeah.
Understand?
You were waiting all these months to just
I've
say
been
it
waiting
again.
my whole life to
Wow.
talk about these. Yeah, because like we all got pet peeves, but then there's like the ones that are specific to like our culture and like our upbringing. You understand?
Yeah.
You got any honorable mentions? Like something like that's like not that serious, but you just want to like say real quick.
There was something that like I said right before this episode started that I didn't have written down. And it's like, I love Bollywood movies.
Yeah. But
something that turns me off from watching them more frequently is that they're so long, right? Like you'll be watching Kal Ho Na Ho or like Kuch Kuch Hota Hai or whatever. After 3 hours, it's an intermission. Intermission means that's the halfway point. Why is the intermission 3 hours into the movie? It's not a 3 hour. Okay, it's like an hour and a half, right? And same thing with like Bengali movies. Like same thing with, other like Nepali movies, whatever it is. And it's just so long. Obviously, there's a reason why these movies are so notable and good and emotional, because they have a lot of meat in it, right? But there's also a lot of like dance numbers. There's also a lot of just like random side quests and this and that contribute to the movie in some aspect, but also it's just like, why are you here, So like I don't think we've watched too many Bollywood movies like together, just because they're so long and it's like half the day.
Yeah. I disagree though. I like that they're mad long.
How do you disagree when you're the one that doesn't want to watch it even more because of how long it is?
No, but like they're still good, like they're like jam packed. Like there's like a lot going on,
right.
There's like a lot to the story, like it can be bad, but there's some bangers. There's some bangers. So I hear what you're saying, but like about the intermission specifically, I love a good intermission.
Yeah,
I love a good intermission. Give me time.
For what?
Give me time. I got things to do. I gotta go butter my popcorn. I gotta go, go run to the boys' room.
Guys, have you ever seen a man like eat a singular popcorn at a time? Tell me how we went to a premiere the other day. He was eating one single popcorn at a time.
That's normal. What's wrong with you?
You're supposed to grab a few.
Who?
You're
Who
supposed
grabs
to
this
have
all
a few popcorn.
Listen, this is one of these things
let
that
us
you
know in
just
the
don't know
comments
what you're
below.
talking about. No, they don't need to let you know.
You don't
People eat popcorn one at a time. Yes,
guys,
of
this
course.
movie was over 2 hours long. This man is sitting next to me eating a single popcorn for 2 hours
That's
straight.
normal. How do you eat nachos? You eat nachos 4 at a time or one
No,
at a time?
nachos are so much bigger and less dense than a popcorn.
How do you eat chips?
One. Chips is so different than a popcorn.
What's the difference?
Popcorn is literally half a centimeter.
You're being
Okay, anyway.
quite dramatic.
Okay, anyway, so that was my honorable mention. Do you have one or no?
I don't know if this is like a common thing, but this happened a lot growing up. I hate when like people leave the house without saying anything. I feel like brown people do this a lot. They'll just walk out and they'll be gone for 12 hours. They're not picking up their phone. They're not doing anything. Oh, I was down the street. Why didn't you say anything to me?
Who did this to you?
Like I feel like anyone that I grew up with, they
This
just
never
always,
really happened to me. This is probably just like a you thing.
Okay, well I'm sure there are individuals that will
But don't
relate
you
to
do
me.
this too?
No, I never do this. I don't do this because of
Of your trauma?
my trauma.
I see.
I always let the hello Jetasi,
Okay,
I'm
I'm
going.
leaving.
I'm
I
going,
see.
just so you know.
Mm.
Yeah, and I'm never a big fan of that.
It's like a form of respect to let someone know.
I need to know. But one thing that like my mom always told me that like I really like that like she does. She never says like if I leave the house, she'll tell me like, oh, like don't say like Jetasi, like don't say like you're going, say like ashtasi, say like, oh, I'm coming back. That's kind of cute. That's a little deep.
Cute. That's
a little
cute.
deep, yeah.
I grew up for years until I think I turned like 24, just never wanting to say goodbye, because goodbye has a finality in it.
Yeah, facts.
Like a final tone to it.
Yeah. What do you say now?
Just
catch
bye.
you on the flip side. All right, let's start off.
So my first pet peeve that I mean we've seen it for years now. Like we've seen it since colonialism, right? Since British colonialism, when they stole everything from us.
What a time!
Something that is very popular on the TikTok wave and the Instagram wave now.
Yeah, talk about it.
Is all the white companies stealing the South Asian wear, right?
Shout out Scandinavians.
Tell me why the Scandinavian aesthetic, where it's literally just like an orna. Tell me why we see like the Princess Pollys, the Sheins, this and that. They're pulling out. You know what they're calling it?
What are they calling it?
Ibiza style.
Ibiza?
Ibiza style.
Ibiza.
And it's literally just like a sequin top with. This is a kicker.
What is it?
With a little lehenga bottom. A little lehenga bottom, a little sharara bottom.
I like it. I see the vision.
A little orna.
I see the vision.
And a little some like the matching set.
Yeah. So what's the problem? Like what's like the problem?
So the problem is that like it's so funny because I was on TikTok and you were watching over my shoulder and it's like these Shada girls, they'll be wearing these full on like 2-piece sharara set that they got from Princess Polly for $200 or whatever it is, and they'll put like a nice little like Coldplay song over their fit check, and they'll be like, oh my god, like this is the most transformational piece of like gonna go party with the girlies in Ibiza, and it's just like, where did Ibiza come from?
I get it.
Where did the Scandinavian aesthetic come from?
I get it.
Why is it that country culture now?
No, but are we being dramatic? Why aren't we like, just let them have it? Let them have it.
In the beginning, there were some things where there were similarities with it, but also it's like, there are so many different fashion aesthetics and trends and styles that you can put together nowadays where I'm like, okay, there's similarities, but that doesn't mean that they're stealing this completely, right? But then I saw some more styles, saw some more just sets and combinations of things.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, at this point you might as well just put a teep on. You might as well put the little Bangladesh flag on your shoulder too. Put a hijab on
at that point,
because it's like the similarities are getting a little bit too coincidental now.
Damn.
You might as well at this point just buy property in Bangladesh. So I think that there were some coincidental style choices that overlap with South Asian culture, but then there are also just some straight stealing that the worst part is that they don't acknowledge it, right? They don't acknowledge it. They look at the comments, they disable it. They get the clout from those comments and that type of engagement from all the people just saying like, okay, this is full on stealing. And, you know, we've talked about this heavily before in other episodes, but there's a difference between cultural appropriation in comparison to appreciation, right? Appreciating the culture is like paying homage to where the background is from, hopefully it being like an actual genuine person that runs the company or a South Asian person that is making these clothing, maybe paying the people properly, just having some good ethics and morals behind it, right? Whereas appropriating, which is what we're seeing right now, is just stealing the culture, stealing the clothing, having no South Asian models, having just no acknowledgement that it's from that background. And yeah, there's like a very stark difference. So I think that's why people are mad. It's just the Shadamanus that are styling these and making these clothing, you know.
Damn.
And then guess what? It's just a trend. So after Ibiza summer's done.
Yeah. Bye bye,
you know.
Yeah. I will say I feel like a lot of time like the creators or the designers of this type of stuff will say and like will acknowledge that it's inspired by this and that, but like people just don't listen to that. You know, like a lot of that goes like people just like ignore that and they just focus on like what they did make. So I think most of the time there is some sort of like, whether it's like a South Asian model or some sort of like paying respects to like where it comes from. But you know, in the fast life of social media and trying to, you know, just hop on like the hate train, a lot of it does get like lost in translation. So
yeah, I think with like cancel culture, you're gonna see the thing that is the most like, you know, fiery and it's like most popular right now. So even if it's they gave homage or they gave like some sort of credit, you're probably not gonna see that.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, it's just like people don't really care. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Yeah. People won't care about like the good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, the good stuff.
Yeah, but also it's like even if you are paying homage to it, but you're considering it like Ibiza sequin summer, like you're not really paying homage to it at all. You know?
I get it though.
Yeah, you understand, right?
Catch me in
what would you do if like someone pulled up in like a Punjabi, but like they called it like Copenhagen fashion? You rock with that? What if like someone pulled up with like Punjabi and like jorts? Like that would be your style, no? That'd be kind of hard.
It's kind of hard.
All right. You got some?
Yeah, I got one.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more serious. Bit more serious. Us as a community, we gotta stop judging each other on how religious we are.
Oh.
Like specifically how Muslim you are. You understand? Because here's the thing, you know, like this isn't like a super developed thought yet, but it's just something that like I've witnessed and like experienced a lot growing up, is that like whether it's from your peers or whether it's from adults or elderly or whoever, you as in us in the Muslim community are heavily judged by like how many times you pray, if you are eating not halal, if you are doing extracurricular activities that are not optimal for someone who's Muslim, etc. And you know, I'm not here to have the conversation of like what's right and wrong. That's I'm not doing that. What I'm here to talk about is like let people cook on their own. Like let people figure it out by themselves. You know, if it is a close friend of yours and you know you are more Muslim, I am more Muslim than you, or vice versa, sure, we're gonna have that conversation.
Yeah.
But why are you going online commenting on someone's random video? Put a job on.
It's always that. No, my favorite was like during Ramadan when I would see like, you know, these cutesy girls making like funny videos during Ramadan about just like, you know, when you're at the mosque and you're trying to pray, but everyone's so close together, so you like end up on top of their head, and then people in the comments during Ramadan you were posting a video with the music. Like, why are you on TikTok? Why are you on TikTok? It's a music app. How are you commenting this on a music app?
Yeah. And
it's just like, you know, so I think this is a hot take, but during Ramadan and also like the very pious, judgmental Muslims, like they're probably one of like the worst people, because, and it's not even about the religion, it's just the people that make up these groups, this religion, that think that they're better than other people because they're trying to guide you towards God. But it's like, if you are the one that's judging them and you're kind of making it seem like you're better than them,
you're just as bad. And it's like, you're not even guiding them in a proper way. Like, there's a way to say like, okay, I see that you're doing this, maybe you can do this a little bit better to be a little bit more, modest, or whatever it is, right? That's a lot better than, okay, you're going to hell, you're gonna go all 7 levels of hell. All of them, one by one.
You are just the worst human being possible just because you did something that is not making them happy, And I think me as a creator, I see this firsthand just because I get comments like this all the time, and I think it pushes people away from their religion even more, from what I've seen, where you are trying your best to be better or, be more practicing, but then you have other people that think that they are better than you, who judge you and criticize you, which makes you not want to actually be better.
Yeah.
It's like there are also a lot of like hijabis that are trying to get closer to God, or are trying to be more practicing and modest and this and that, but maybe one strand of their hair is out of their hijab. Astaghfirullah, you're going to hell. And it's like, they're telling them basically to take up the hijab. You're disowned from the family. You're dishonoring your father, your mother, everyone in the family. Yeah. So it's like, they're wearing the hijab, they're trying their best, and then you have this dip dot like trying to like mansplain you and make it seem like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. Like, I think it's one thing if like you catch me at the club like drunk as hell with like a latte and like a thob and a Quran in my hand. Like, that's one thing. Then you can pop off on me. What the hell are you doing? But if you like walk in the club and you see me with like a beverage in my hand, like that isn't enough reason for you to like, come out to me.
Like, why are you at the club?
like, so I think, just let people figure it out on their own. If it's a friend of yours, you can have that conversation with them, sure. But it's like, just like acquaintances or just like random people in your community just talking shit about you. Oh, you're not this enough, that enough. Mind your business, bro. Like, I'll figure. Like, this is between him and I. So that's what it's gonna stay at. So.
I remember for Ramadan, I posted this video on like workouts that are more Ramadan friendly because they're not as intensive, and some of the clips that I had were like before Ramadan of me wearing like leggings and this and that, and someone commented, they're like, I'm just warning you right now.
be prepared for what's to come to you.
He goes, I'm just warning you right now, but you're gonna get so many hate comments on all the outfits that you're wearing on this. No one liked or commented on that video about. Oh my god.
You got one?
Yeah. I don't know if this is relevant to you, but for me personally, my family didn't really like celebrate wins in my household. Damn. And this could be related to so many different things. It could be like, maybe we didn't have the money. Maybe, my parents worked. They didn't have the time to set aside for every single win in our lives. Maybe it just wasn't important enough, right? Like, me and my brother, we would get taken out for our birthdays and things like that. We would always look forward to the Red Lobster. Well, actually, it was mostly me who got taken out. My brother didn't really get the Red Lobster because his birthday was in January. It was kind of like snowy all the time.
Just because it was snowing.
It was snowy.
Poor kid. Like,
it was snowy, and then he got to dorm.
Biscuit because it was cold out. Let him get his Cheddar Bay biscuit.
He got no biscuit. No, because there was like always like a blizzard going on. For me,
right, cook
for me, I had the thunderstorm. Okay, anyway, so we would look forward to those birthday dinners. But everything else, like, we didn't go out. But in movies, you'll see, oh my God, you got honor roll. Let's go to Olive Garden.
Yeah, Ibiza, yeah.
And let's go book a flight to Italy for your honor roll. And yeah, I never really had that. And I don't know if that leaks into us sometimes seeing South Asians as like not celebratory of other South Asians' wins. Maybe because they didn't really have that importance or regard growing up. Like, for example, if I got into, art honor society, which I was in, by the way, I wasn't really like celebrated like that, and then I think that made me not want to really tell anyone about my wins as much, and kind of like win in secret and then just level up from there. So like I'm very like quiet about the things that I succeed in now, because I just feel like it's not as grand as like, oh my god, I landed a job at the top firm, or like I got into med school, you know, like those are amazing wins. But it's just, I think since those are the highest expectations or that like are placed on us, nothing else is good enough unless we reach that. You know,
like our parents are so like end goal focused. You know? They're so doctor. You know? All the small ones don't really matter. They're excited for like that end goal, but like, you know, there's so much work that goes before that you know, is expected, that you know, we just kind of want a little bit of appreciation for sometimes. You know, so I get that. I
think it's like a weird feeling now though, because like now that I work in social media and you know, I put some of my wins on my page sometimes, and my mom follows me, she'll like see that instead of me like telling her outwardly. Like yesterday I posted the win of Sagar Sheikh wearing my designs on the red carpet, and my mom saw that, like she saw that reel, and I saw her comment. She was like, wow, like great designs, keep up the good work. So it's like things like that, you know. So that's and good. It's crazy because like, even though if you do share a win that they don't really react that grand to, like they don't really have like an outward reaction or emotion to it, they'll still like be bragging about you in some form. Like they'll still be making that Facebook status and this and that, and I'm like, I didn't even realize that you heard me when I said that. You know,
that's something that's important to remember. You know, like obviously we want them to show that appreciation to us, but it's important for us to remember that like they notice it, they just don't have the correct delivery. So.
But I think for our next generation, we have to be good at meshing those two together. Like we'll make that Facebook status, but like we'll also have that outward reaction to our kid, you know?
My son can do anything, and we will celebrate.
Yes, we will celebrate. He
will learn Mary Had a Little Lamb on piano,
and we'll be jumping in joy, and
we will go on vacation.
We really would.
God bless you, son.
I can just imagine you teaching him or like our kids on the piano, like how to play, and then that's the win for the day.
Piano and chess at the same time.
Okay, lessons, so you're gonna give him so much stress and anxiety.
No, there's no.
At the same time?
No, not the same time. Just like every night, like piano, chess. You know, 6 to 7 piano, 7 to 8.
Please,
chess.
he was just born.
That's perfect time.
Okay. You know? Anyway, do you have a pet peeve of yours?
This might be a little niche, and like we don't got to talk about this too much. Just something that like I thought about. Cause I met, or like I ran into one of my high school friends when I was in Orlando a couple weeks ago, and like I was just talking about how it was growing up as like one of the few brown kids like in my area, and I was just always like, yeah, you know, like there were like a handful of brown people, but all of them were like good kids, and I felt really shunned out by like all of the good brown kids because I wasn't like a great brown kid. Like whether it was because like I came from like a different area town, or just like, you know, like I dressed different, or I, you know, was into different things. I was into like the creative arts or whatever. I was just very like I was just like heavily judged for that, and just like not allowed into the community, as in like I wasn't treated as like another brown person in the community. And I feel like this is something that's like quite specific to like us as like South Asian people. I'm sure black people in like the black community, it's like if you're into just different things that like the normal brown or black person is into, like you were just like kind of not welcome in like the community. And I just felt like a lot of that, and that really, you know, affected how much I like related or even cared to like be representative of like my culture and my identity. That's why like I pushed it away for so long, because I was just like, yo, like I felt pushed away by it, you know. So I don't know if like you went through that, but like I think that's something that like our people just unconsciously do a lot. It's like if you are the brown kid that's into writing and is into baggy jeans, you're just kind of like not one of us.
It feels very cliquey sometimes. It's like I also felt like an outlier sometimes because I was more into the creative side and the English and, you know, drawing, and not really nursing and health and this and that. So I always felt like the dumb person for pursuing English and going into this business route instead of like what my old friends did back in the day. And I think it's very unintentionally like cliquey and lonely when you don't fit in with everyone, you know. And then there's also, it's like what you said about you not fitting into the mold of like a black person. Like there's this one creator that I follow on TikTok. Her name is Annie, I believe, and she's this black former lawyer, and she's very like articulate and she's very smart, and you know, she makes a lot of like educational type of videos. And because of that, because she's outside of like the stereotypical person that society thinks of when you think of a black person, someone like, a lot of people comment, I think you're gonna marry a white person one day. You know, it's like, why do you automatically assume that someone who's black, who's articulate and educated is gonna marry someone white? Because do you think that other like black men can be also smart? Like, do you think just white people can be smart and that's what you deserve as a black person? So it's very interesting how like people have these thoughts just based off of like what they see and who you are, you know?
I remember I used to be just that, and I remember like the exact time and place where like my sister told me exactly what you just said, because I used to my sister is very articulate and she has a very refined language, and I used to always be like, yo, stop being white, da, da, da. Because like I grew up with my sister, and my sister wasn't always like that, you know. When she was a teenager, we would like shoot the shit, and like she would like be like laid back like I am, and have like a laid back language and slang. And then, you know, as she got older, she just got more refined and more mature. And I used to always like dog on her, like, yo, stop being like that. Like, you're not like that. Like, and then she, like, this one time she just like sat me down. She was like, yo, just because like I speak with like I have a more refined language does not mean I'm white. It just means I have a refined language. You know, it doesn't matter what you look like.
So it's like also biases that we have.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from. You can become an articulation, like these features and characteristics that we look up to and we see as valuable, us unconsciously like giving it to like the white community, like, like the white person is just not how we should operate, and it's not how like we should continue. So after she said that, she said it in a much better way than I did. Like it still kind of come out sometimes, but you know, she's right, right.
Right as always.
Right as always.
So as you guys know, we post about the episode before we start recording on our Instagram stories at Difficult Dish, if you guys don't know.
Yeah.
And as we mentioned, we are featuring some of the responses that we got from last time, just because we had so many. So we're going to speed around through some of the ones that we got, right? Someone said, a pet peeve of theirs: if I don't eat seconds, they automatically think I hate their cooking. Speak on that. Speak on that. A man on a diet, how do you feel?
You know, like I've had some family from Bangladesh staying at my house, and my mommy has been, you know, very graciously cooking a lot for everyone at home, which I love. I love her. She has delicious cooking. It's delicious cooking, wonderful cooking. And when I first went there, you know, I would indulge, you know, do my thing. Then by like the second, third day, like I'm telling her, I'm like, hey, you know, like I'm trying to like kind of watch my like calories a little bit, and I'm trying to like chill out a little bit.
Right.
And she was just so confused.
Right.
She was like, is everything? She would be talking to my mom. Is he okay? What's going on?
No, you know
with
what?
him?
My favorite part was like when we were waking up for Sehri, like during Ramadan, we were waking up before sunrise to eat. And Mashoud and I, we were just having a protein shake, right? Because we don't want to eat like heavy foods and then go back to sleep. And your mom and your aunt, they're like, yeah, like, how are they just having milk? And they were like bonding and like laughing over it. He's like, I don't understand. Like, how are they not having rice and chicken and this and that?
Yeah,
so
yeah, my mommy was like, oh, bring me one next time. I want to know what this is saying. I need to know.
Yeah.
She's so curious about, you know.
And then your mom was like, she was like, yeah, you know, the kids nowadays, like, they drink the protein milk and that's okay.
It's crazy. What are they doing? They're not having bucket of bath in the morning. They're crazy. How are they going to survive?
Exactly.
So my mommy was just so worried for me.
Yeah.
And like I didn't know how to tell her, like, you know, like that's not good for you, by the way.
Also, my mom does the same thing to you when you don't eat like seconds and thirds. But also I think she's starting to understand.
No, but with my mommy, it was just complete like completely unaware of like what I'm talking about.
Right,
she's just like, what like just has no idea. Whereas like your mom, like in the back of her, she knows like, okay, like this is not the best for you, but like you should eat it because you know you should eat it. My mommy's just like, what are you talking about? Okay.
How dare you? Someone said, toxic mothers bragging about all they do to the entire family near and far for their children. I have a hot take on this. I feel like, yes, sometimes mothers do a lot to make others recognize what they are doing. But also, a lot of the times, they don't get the recognition that they deserve. And that's like their only way of like venting and getting out their anxieties and angers, because no one is acknowledging it. Maybe they have like a husband that does not even acknowledge them or talk to them.
Facts.
Maybe they have kids that just like use her for everything that she does, and then they get used to her doing everything for them. So yeah, sometimes I agree, mothers might be doing a lot even though you're helping them to show that they're doing a lot, but also that also might be a cry for help.
Yeah. I think it's like, before you get mad at your mom for being some sort of way, you gotta like look in the mirror first.
Oh, that was a good one.
You gotta think about are you a piece of shit kid? You gotta really ask yourself, am I being a piece of shit kid? A lot of time, 8 times out of 10, facts, you are, and you gotta straighten yourself out a little bit first. She got some work to do first, but like the problem starts with you. At the end of the day. I felt that one. I wasn't.
No, but that one was like,
I wasn't talking about
personal.
Not because talking from experience, like my mom will get mad at me, and like I'll get my mom's on some bullshit again. Like, but I'm here 19, not doing absolutely nothing that she says.
Right. She works like a 12-hour workday, cooks for the whole family, and then you're like,
I'm here, cracking eggs on my head, just wasting my goddamn time. My mom's mad at me again. Obviously she is. I'm doing nothing with my life.
I'm gonna pee myself because I can genuinely imagine you at 19 cracking eggs.
So when you strain yourself out, you get yourself in order, and then then that's another conversation. But like, first things first, you got
look at yourself in the mirror.
Look at yourself in the mirror.
Masha Munir said it best. But something I do not like, kind of on the same vein as that, I don't like when mothers try to outdo other like aunties on the phone by bragging about their kids' accomplishments. Like, why is one auntie like, I don't know if it's genuine, but saying like, oh yeah, like, my son just got a good job, like he's starting like blah blah. My daughter just got into her master's program.
Yeah. No, but that's not how it goes. It goes like, okay, you say something and I'll be like the one to
our daughter just got into like a really good program for like engineering.
That's nice. That's nice. At Harvard?
Yeah.
Okay, my son, he went to Harvard twice already. Like, they'll like, that's nice, but just so you know, like, I'm better.
Like, they'll acknowledge it, but also like just to talk over you.
Just so you know, like, my son 4 degrees from Harvard already. By the way. But okay, congratulations to your daughter. Yeah.
She could ask my son for some help.
No, literally.
That's what I don't like. That's like a pet peeve of mine, because it's like, why can't you genuinely wish success on your friend?
Real haters get it.
All right, so the last response that we got from our fellow difficulters is being late to things where punctuality matters. I think as I get older and older, I am getting more and more pissed off by people who are just like fashionably late and they make it their like personalities. It's not cute. It's not cute. It's just disrespectful. I'm 3 hours late. Sorry. I'm just a girl. No, you are a nuisance to the world. Okay. It's just like, okay, I get if you're 10 minutes late, 15 minutes late, whatever. But it's like, if your personality is that you are fashionably late, because that's fashionable now, and if a party starts at 6, you're like, okay, that means 9. No, it does not. No, it does not. So I don't like that. I think now my body reacts like very viscerally. Like, I get I get the poops, like the anxiety poops. Like when I'm like late for something.
That's not normal.
You don't get anxiety poops?
When I'm being late?
I know you do firsthand. I know you do.
All right. That's the end of the episode. We hope you enjoyed, these various pet peeves of ours. Do you have 10-second advice?
If there is something creative that you've been wanting to do, but you keep saying, oh my God, I don't have enough time. I got to do this and that for school, work, whatever. Try to dedicate a day or an afternoon specifically to that task so that you have to force yourself into this deep creative work where you have nothing else to work on and like an end time limit for that task. You like that one?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. Calm.
How about you, buddy?
Calm little one. Go print some pictures at CVS. A lot of us don't print no pictures no more. You know, everything just sticks to the phone, the iPhone. Go print some out and go buy some cheap frames and go put up some frames in your house. Gentle reminder. That's all I'm doing here.
You've been doing that?
You understand?
You've
Yeah, I got one up there for you.
Yeah, you brought a frame for me the other day.
Yeah.
That was nice. But you haven't printed any like yourself.
I haven't.
Okay. You got a Bangla word of the day? Should be bhat, which is rice. You know, we talked about rice.
Something a little bit more advanced.
We talked about rice in this episode.
Yeah.
About being force-fed rice and mangsho, rice and chicken.
Yummy, yummy.
But anyway, thank you so much for watching and listening. I hope you guys liked this week's episode. A little silly goose episode, you know, a little turn of events, you know, to really twist the image that we have of ourselves sometimes.
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, rate the podcast, review the podcast, and come back next week.
We love you guys so much. And Allah Hafiz.